Hey everyone, so today I wanted to cover how to use Visual Basic to highlight a range of cells whenever a cell is clicked. So in this case, what I'll want to set up my VBA code to do is to highlight this entire range of cells whenever any of these cells are selected here so that it can highlight for the user that this is the row that they are referring to. So let's go ahead and hit Alt F11, open up the Visual Basic window. So in the past, we've seen that we can add or insert modules here. In this case, we want to trigger a selection event. So we don't need a module here since everything we'll be doing is working off of the sheet. So we can go to sheet one. This is our sheet and write the code there, and everything that'll happen will be relating to this sheet. So I'll start with private sub. It's a worksheet selection change. So this will be by value, target as range. It's a private sub since it's within this sheet. It's not like a global procedure that we want to call from other modules or anything like that. So let's start off with intersect. What we'll want to tell Excel is basically if our range is intersecting with the range that we're giving it here, then do something, right? So I think it's B20 to O21. Okay, so basically here we're saying if not is nothing. So basically if it is something, in other words, so if it is intersecting the target with this range that we're giving it, then do something. That's what we'll tell it to do here. So I'm going to tell Excel if one of these cells in the range intersects with this range, then in sheets mockup, I want to highlight the entire range. So I'll give it the same range here. If any of the cells intersects with those, then this range should be Interior.Color. We can choose something like XL white here, but I want to use RGB numbers since I already have them here. And I looked up exactly what I want the color to be. If it doesn't work out, we can always come back and change those. So this is the color that I want it to change to. So basically, if it is intersecting this range, then change the color of this range. So basically the same range. So if I go back, now it's changing. So you noticed I clicked it and the entire range changed to that color that I want it to set. However, if I click out of it, it still says that I'm clicking into it. So let's go back and first add a line of code that says basically I want this to go all the way to O27 so that if any of those has previously been touched, that it'll just change the color. So like I said, we can set this equal to XL white, XL black. I'll set it to xlNone. So basically, as soon as a person interacts with this worksheet, I want to set this entire range to basically not have a fill color. Then it can check whether the active cell is interacting with this range and then do this. So now I'm not touching the cell, so it clears it all. I've touched it again, so now it's doing it. Okay, so I want to do the same thing for the rest of the ranges. It's as simple as copying and pasting here. Okay, so I want it to do the same thing with 22 to 23, 24, 25, and 26 to 27. Okay, that looks correct. So let's go check. Okay, there we go. So now the code is saying, okay, that cell intersects with the range that it was given, and it's asking it to change the cell. Now, just as an added bonus, I have a couple of text boxes here. As you can see, I have these text boxes. Each one of these is tied to one of these rows. So what I'll do is I'll go here. Let me make sure that these are aligned, and then I'll place them wherever I want. So what I also want to do under the same code is I want this text box to change depending on what we're choosing here. So what I'm going to do is, again, look at the sheets. So I'll do shapes. So basically I'm telling it the shapes, text box. I remember the text box was 8 and then 26 to 28. So with the shape text box 8, I want to change the order to bring to front. So basically, if I select a cell within this range, I want this text box to be brought to the front. So I'll do the same thing with the rest. I already know that this text box is number 26, this one is 27, and this one is 28. So now, as you can see, this is now the master of cookies. If I go to ice cream, this gives me the master of ice cream, master of cake, and so on. And now it looks very seamless. It changes very quickly, highlights the cells that we want to highlight, letting everyone know that that is the row that we're working on. Okay. Now, I promised to also share if you wanted to highlight the entire row, what you would do. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the range here so that instead of highlighting this range as this color, I wanted to highlight the entire row. So if I wanted to highlight only B20, if anything in B20 to O21 was touched, then I could delete everything and just say B20. Or if I want to highlight both rows at the same time, what I could do is B20 to O21 and then hit entire row. So range.entirerow.interior.color. So now it should highlight the entire row. So now as you can see, it's highlighting the entire row as far as you can see. And it'll do the same thing for these. So it's highlighting the entire row, but then it's deleting this range since that's what we told it. So here we would have to say the same thing, dot entire row, xlNone. Actually, yeah, it should work. And there we go. That's how you highlight the entire row.